People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out.
We all got together and had a powwow and said this is what we want to do, and we came up with the name, and we got shirts and pooled our money for equipment, and everybody bought a camera, everybody bought a voice recorder, and we started, Judy's daughter, Bethany, did our website, and it's a really got a lot of attention because people were able to to email us, and that's how we got a lot of investigations at first, was people that I have something going on in my house. And so we had friends first, places that we went, the people that we knew, and then it's branched out a little bit from there.
And I would like to say something for T.R.I.P.P. Everybody kind of has their different opinions about the paranormal, and some people are, believe in it, and some people feel that it's strictly taboo. T.R.I.P.P., we do not go out and we don't conjure things. We don't make up things. We don't have rituals where we try to bring up the deceased. What we do is we document. People will call us in. They will have claims of what they think is paranormal activity. And what we do is we go out with our equipment and we just set it up and let it run, and we talk with them. And if it's there, it's there, and if it's not, it's not. And I worked at Big C Appliance here in Wichita Falls, and I do office work down there, and I started noticing that things were going on in the office that were unexplained. There were business machines that would go off and on, lights that would go off and on, footsteps that you could hear clearly and other people could hear clearly, but there was no one out there. It had an attic area that you go to in the back. It's upstairs, and you would hear footsteps clearly, like boots were walking around up there, but there was nothing up there. So being friends with Julie, and one day we were talking and we decided some of us would go down there one night and just kind of check it out and see what was going on. So we took a voice recorder and a couple of cameras, and we went down there and we actually got our first EVP.
EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. When spirits communicate, detection by the human ear is rare, so investigators use voice recorders to capture electronic voice phenomenon. These are EVPs that have been captured by the T.R.I.P.P. team. Listen closely.
Do you need someone to help you?
The unexplained apartment phenomenon.
There was a very intense, heavy, like thick, almost like smothering energy, and I basically just got a picture in my head of basically like it swirling, and so I just swirled it back the other way and it was gone. I don't believe that was so much a haunting as it was kind of an id experience. There's a concept of like, I guess in psychology, like the id and the ego, and apparently the girl that was a resident of the apartment was on some heavy methamphetamines, and I personally believe that she wasn't sleeping, and so her id kind of took form above her bed where she never was.
Paranormal activity at an Indian school on a reservation in southern Oklahoma. Several paranormal groups have tried to investigate phenomenon at the Indian school, but have been denied access due to privacy restrictions. T.R.I.P.P. was the only group allowed to investigate this particular site.
They'd been walking around the grounds, and we'd also walked around because some of the volunteer firefighters, they stay there at the Indian School. They have their thing there. And so we'd been walking the grounds, and they had walked the grounds with us, and some of the other team members had walked the grounds too. Yeah. And so it was just not quite dark yet, and we were talking about the children and playing, so we decided we'd go back over to this area and just walk around, because part of the hospital back there where the children were, the roof had collapsed, and we were going to go check that out. And as we were walking along, all of a sudden this bear head is just there. And we had walked that arrow several times. The firefighters had walked it, but that bear head just appeared there.
Well, once we've decided where we're going to do an investigation, we try to get together, just have a meeting and talk about who's going to do what, look at floor plans if we have a floor plan of the place. Normally before we get together, somebody goes in and interviews the people in the home or the business so that we can, get a floor plan and look at the space beforehand. And then we just meet and decide what we're all going to do.
New Year's of, I guess, 2008 to 2009, I was asked to work in Ardmore to do tarot readings for a radio station release party. And I met the lady that currently owns the buildings. She later invited me back and told me, that she heard footsteps up in the upstairs portion of the buildings, and she would be interested in us coming out and checking it out.
The T.R.I.P.P team agreed to travel to Ardmore, Oklahoma to validate claims of paranormal activity. Building number 13 on Main Street was damaged by a train explosion in 1915 and has since demonstrated paranormal phenomenon. According to the Daily Ardmorite, on Tuesday, September 28, 1915, an explosion of a 250-barrel tank car of gasoline at 2:20 this afternoon in the yards of the Santa Fe wrecked hundreds of houses and probably killed as many as 50 people. The death list could not be completed until the bodies are dug from the buildings, which were totally wrecked during the explosion. Immediately following the explosion, excited people were running in every direction. The glass fronts were blown from the stores, and scores of people were bleeding. The news came that the two other cars were exposed, and no one was allowed near the place of destruction.
When I look out my window, many sights to see. And when I look in my window, so many different people to be, that it's strange, so strange. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. Must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch, yeah. Must be the
EMF, electromagnetic field, device which picks up electric energy sources. Spirits tend to give off electric energy which can be picked up by the EMF device.
Welcome. No problem.
This goes to the back alley. So this isn't registering anything because it would pick up if there was any kind of EMF.
Thermal device used to record temperatures. It is said that spirits can change the temperature of a room if present.
The temperature back here is about the same. It needed more light to kind of help it.
Want to take your picture? Can I please take your picture? I'm empathic, and I believe that I have some telepathy, and I think that's what helps me communicate with them. I don't really see mental images kind of the way Tracy does. I kind of feel them as far as like emotions, or like how they're feeling, and that's kind of like how I communicate with them. I tend to attract the children's spirits, and I think probably it's because I have young children myself, and they kind of see me as a mother figure. But if there is a child like spirit there, usually I'm the first to find it.
A lot of the stuff from Ardmore I picked up just off the internet. Looked up for Ardmore explosion, which happened probably about 2 blocks away, I guess, from where this place we were looking at. And it actually gave a list of everyone that had died in that explosion. Among the following are the dead that died during the explosion that day: Henry Carpenter, Sam Stalka, a little 7-year-old. Is Aaron C. Gould here?
Ovulus, device which digitizes electronic voice phenomenon. The device picks up sound frequencies that the human ear cannot detect and makes it audible.
Okay, Aaron, if you're with us, can you make some type of noise? We cannot give up right now, Aaron. Can you make some type of noise or touch someone to let us know that you're with us? Can you make some sound for us?
The results from the investigation in Ardmore were inconclusive. After going over all the tapes and recordings, the T.R.I.P.P team did not capture any hard evidence. Several team members, however, felt like they did experience some sort of paranormal phenomenon.
Strange days have found us. Strange days have tracked us down. They're going to destroy